guys, welcome to A Little Bit of Monica. We are starting another week and it is March, which means it is Realmathon, and this is another Realmathon reading vlog. I am so excited to dive into this week because I have a very special plan. I am hoping that this week is going to be filled with me reading arcs. I have been collecting so many Netgalley arcs over the past couple of months, and I've been really neglecting getting through any of them. So I have made it my mission this week to get through as many arcs as I possibly can. I will be buddy reading at least one or two, and then I have a couple other ones that I am planning to read separately. So I'm really excited to jump right into this. If you were here in January, then you know that I started a buddy read of a series that I have loved dearly for the last 10 plus years of my life. This was a part of Mel's Patreon that we were buddy reading Poison Study by Maria V. Snyder, and I absolutely love Maria V. Snyder as an author, and Poison Study is one of my favorite books of all time. I have definitely reread that book in particular, and also this series, more times than any other book or series ever in my life. So I love this book. I love the series, and I am going to be starting to read the second book in the series this week, which is Magic Study. Now, the reason I say this isn't going to be a quick once and done kind of read is because I started annotating Poison Study earlier this year. I have a nice matching box set of the series, and I decided to start annotating because of how many times I've reread these books, how much I love them. This year I've started annotating a couple other books, and I really wanted to try Poison Study because it's so beloved, right? So I'm going to be annotating Magic Study along the way, but along with Magic Study, I am also reading the short story collection. It's the Study Chronicles, which was self-published by the author last year, and I have not read some of the short stories in here. Now, she has written short stories over the last number of years just to help expand the world for fans who have loved the series since its ending and still wanted more. And she's released a lot of these short stories on her website, but she finally got them officially bound, and she had a few additional short stories that were never previously released that are included in this book. The first one I have already I've already annotated the first short story because it actually takes place before Poison Study. But I am reading through this whole series chronologically, and so I'm going to be kind of working my way through here. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to count anything for Realmathon in this book just because I'm not going to be reading enough of it to count, but I will be starting with the short story here, and I'm definitely going to be reading the short story this week and annotating that, but then I'm going to start in this one just so I can keep up chronologically. So that is my plan here. I do have my annotation supplies here that I will just show you super quickly. I picked out the tab colors. The top two here are going to go with the short story collection, but the rest I have here, and I'm very excited for all the colors. I have lots of colored pens. I actually just bought some more because some of the pens I had were running out of ink. But I now have a much more in-depth collection, and my bag is full of everything that I will be using for my annotation here. I'm very excited because I have really fallen in love with annotating, and just being able to sit with a book longer and take my time and go through the details and like really appreciate everything that the author puts into the book, having emotional reactions sometimes and just being able to write my thoughts in the margins. It's been so much fun. So I'm really looking forward to continuing that with this book and with this series. I have all of the rest of the books on my shelf that I can't wait to get through this year, and the fact that this one also has a black cover, so it'll be some bonus points for Realmathon, it just works out super well. So I am going to be starting this now with the intention of finishing it by the end of the month, but definitely not by the end of the week because I have other things I want to get to. And speaking of other things that I want to get to, my other intention for this week is to be reading all of these arcs. Now, I did start one in my last vlog that I am going to be continuing. It is We Ate the Dark by Mallory Pearson. I've had this arc for quite a while. I think I also have the ebook from the Kindle First Reads from like January or February, and I never got to it. And I think the book's already out by now, but I have not heard great things about this book. It does not have great ratings. I am 21% into the book right now. I did buy the audiobook from Audible because it was 92% off. So I only spent $2 on the audio, but this is like a 400-page book, and with a 2.8 rating on Goodreads, I was not super confident in being able to get through this well. So I am putting everything together to try to get through this book. At 21%, I can absolutely understand why people have DNF'd or people did not like it. there is just so much writing. It is word vomit. It's very, very, very descriptive, which is good, and I love vivid descriptions. I'm a visual reader. I visualize things as I'm going, and I can very easily do that with this book. However, it's like too much, and also I'm getting very easily distracted because there's not a lot of plot happening. It's just a lot of description. So I am going to be continuing in this book. I'm going to continue, but I'm a little bit nervous because like right now I'm just not into it yet. Like I don't really care, but it does follow a young girl, woman. I'm actually not sure how old she was, but she went missing, and 5 years later they find her body inside of a tree. So now her twin sister and best friends are going to like try to figure out what happened to her, I guess. Somebody knows something and has secrets or whatever. They're gonna uncover it. Sounds like it's supposed to be really creepy, eerie. I don't know. I don't know what to feel yet. I'm not quite far in enough to have like a strong opinion, but the opinion I have so far is it needs to pick up. It needs to pick up or I am going to put it back down. But for now, I am going to be continuing in this, and I think this is the first thing I'm going to work on because I want to make some more progress before I convince myself not to keep going. So this is what I'm going to start back up with today, but yeah. I'm excited to be going into another week of Realmathon. If you don't know what Realmathon is, because I realize I never mentioned that, please make sure that you check out Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy. She has all the details with everything going on with Realmathon. It's so much fun. Month-long readathon, reading lots of books, getting points, and competing against other teams. It's great. So much fun, and I can't wait to continue through the rest of the month, but I will update you once I've made it a little further in the book. Probably like 50%. Maybe, but either way, I will see you a bit later. Hi, big surprise. I did not read the thing I said I was going to read first. Instead of jumping into the ebook, I decided to read the short story that comes before Magic Study. So this one was Assassin Study, following Valak, who is the main male character of Poison Study. And basically, it's very short, but the reason I wanted to talk about this story is because I think it was so cool the way it was written. Now, before every short story, Maria V. Snyder, the author, has provided like a little bit of backstory for why she wrote it or when she wrote it. And this short story, her note had mentioned that she had been writing it for like an online short story publication thing where it was actually an interactive story. So for a series of 5 weeks, she would post a single part of the story, and at the end of that part, it would be a choice, and the readers got to decide what the next action was going to be. So she had to provide options for what the next part would be, and then she had to write that part in that following week and be ready to publish it a week later. I think this is super cool, and after reading the story, I think it was so fun to have it set up that way because in this publication, she printed it in a way that represents, like, at the end of part 1, she puts what should he do and gives the options, and then you flip the page and you see her first sentence is, the readers chose this. So this is what everyone read. This is what was written. And so then you get to read what the readers at that time had chosen. I think she said this started in 2007 is when, like, this story was written, and I just think that's so fascinating. But also it's fun because I, having read the rest of the series, like, there's some decisions that were made by the readers at the time that, like, I would not have made those choices. And so it's a little frustrating sometimes to know that, like, things wouldn't have ended that way if I had made the choice. But also, that's how reading always goes. You don't normally have choice. So I don't know, it was just a really creative way of like making this short story stand out a little bit by having it have been made in the past, obviously, but it was reader's choice in how some of the stuff went down. I think that was so much fun. And I finished the short story. I didn't like love it, but I love that we get to meet a character in that short story that you don't realize is going to be very important later on, but you meet him kind of just like very briefly. And so that was really fun, kind of like an Easter egg, because if you know the story, then you know what role that character is going to play later. But if you haven't read it before, then you just like learn who this person is and then move on. And so, yeah, this was really fun. Now that I've read the short story, I am actually going to switch back and read the ebook. I'm gonna do it before I start Magic Study. So we're gonna switch gears now, but this was such a fun read, and I was able to add some more tabs to my annotating of this copy. So that's been really fun, and now I will check back in with you once I've made some progress in We Ate the Dark. I know I said I was gonna give it more of a try, but I'm officially DNFing We Ate the Dark. I really wanted to like this book. I really wanted to prove the ratings wrong, if I'm being honest. Seeing that it had a 2.8 rating on Goodreads really had me feeling like I'm gonna go into this and I'm gonna like it more, and I'm gonna tell people why it's better. And here's the thing, I don't think I can do that. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, I have been looking at the Goodreads reviews after finishing or DNFing and before talking about it. I've been looking at some of these reviews because I want to see, like, what are people saying? Now, in order, I'm going to tell you the most common rating for this book. Well, first of all, the least common rating is a 5-star, and then 4 stars, and then 1, 2, and 3 stars is the most common rating for this book, which is fair. The fact that the more common ratings are the 1, 2, and 3 stars is not super great. And here's the difference, because I've read some of the 5-star ratings and the 4-star ratings, and the common factor here, a lot of people said if you can push through to the end of the book, the twist that it takes, the unraveling of story and plot that it goes through is really interesting. And for people who are reading the book because the plot sounds good, which is why most people read books, they will be pleased by how the story unfolds. Here's the thing, I've read some of these really positive reviews and some of the mid reviews, and they all said if you can push through, here's what you'll believe. But even then, like, it's hard to get through the writing style if it's not for you. And I don't think this writing style is for me. Now, I am a visual reader, and it is a very descriptive book, but the problem is it takes like a whole page to get what 1 to 2, maybe 3 sentences could accomplish, and that's just too much. Like, this is an over 400-page book, and I think it could be 200 pages if it just wasn't so dang descriptive. And the descriptions are really good. I do want to say that, like, some of the way that this author describes things, it's very lyrical, and like, it is a very beautiful writing. I just simply get lost in the words. I don't understand why it's moving so slowly. Like, it's just too much, okay? By 30%, which is where I DNF'd, I still don't actually know what the main plot of this book is, and there were multiple points that I genuinely had the most blank expression on my face because I did not know what was happening. I think that there are witches involved, and maybe possibly like another realm, or like the girl that went missing and died is in another realm, maybe like the underworld or something. I don't know. But there was like a couple of chapters about the dead girl, and there were characters being talked about that I was like, I don't know who any of these people are. I don't know who any of them are. And that's really troubling. Like, it's been a lot. Okay, it's been a lot. I don't want to keep going on about this book. Now, with all that said, I am going to move into my next book. And I am sticking with my arc theme for this week because I have quite a few to get through. The next book I am going to be reading is The Haunting of Velkwood by Gwendolyn Kist. This book sounds so interesting. It is a horror. Fun fact, I almost picked this for the Pyramid Book Club for April, but I ended up going with a different horror instead. But this one, the like tagline statement for it says that it's about 3 childhood friends who survive the night that everybody else in their town is turned into ghosts. That sounds so cool. And I think that there's going to be like a perimeter around the town that they're going to go back and visit the town and try to figure out like why were they not killed, or like why were they saved that night that everyone else died or whatever happened to them. So this sounds like it's gonna be super, super interesting. And I can't wait to jump in because I need something to bring me back after We Ate the Dark was so disappointing. But I am gonna jump right into this book and I will give you some updates on plot and thoughts once I have made some progress in the book. Also, this is me grieving over the fact that I can't count We Ate the Dark for Realmathon because I DNF'd at 30% and it's less than 200 pages. So it doesn't even count for the readathon, but it's fine because I really don't think I could power through another 20% just to count it. So we're gonna count the loss now and move on so that I can get some points with a hopefully better book. Happy Saturday to me. It is rainy and cold and I am laying on my couch reading. Except I'm starting a new book. Surprise, surprise. I did not finish The Haunting of Elkwood yet, although I'm enjoying it. But I'm starting a buddy read with Michelle. We are reading How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin. We've had this arc for a very long time. I think it comes out in a couple of weeks. We just never got around to reading the arc, so we're buddy reading it this weekend, and we're going to read like 25%-ish a day. So today's the start. I'm really excited to read this. I feel like I've heard good things from the early readers, at least, that I think this book is gonna be better than the last arc that I finished, and by finished I mean didn't finish. So I am excited to get into this one. I think from what I understand of the synopsis, the main character is gonna go to a fortune teller who tells her either like that she's going to die or how she's gonna die. I can't remember what the synopsis said, but yeah, then she's gonna try to figure out her own murder before it happens. I'm not sure if she accomplishes that or not, but I guess I'm gonna find out. I feel like I don't read like standard murder mystery type books all that often, so I'm a little bit intrigued with how I'm going to respond to this book, but overall excited and ready to dive right in. So I will keep you updated once I've made some progress, and I don't know when that's going to be, if it's going to be today after 25% or tomorrow after 50%, but I'll let you know where I'm at, and let's just get reading. Well, it is time again. I feel like I do this all the time, but I am going to be building another bookcase. I built all 4 of these. 3 of them were built when we first moved into the house. We put these together for in here. Then we bought an extra one because I was running out of space. And now I will be building a 5th bookcase, but it's not for me. It's actually for my husband because he has a like half-size bookcase for a lot of his manga that like he has like a whole collection. So we're building a bookcase so that he has room for all of his books. He's also going to be taking his Game of Thrones off of my shelves, I think, maybe, possibly, just because like I've never read them. So I think he's going to put those on his shelf. But I don't know, that will be determined later on. This room is probably going to have to be rearranged quite a bit because yeah, it's not a huge room and the wall space is taken up quite a bit by these windows. So we're gonna have to reconfigure some things, but I'm gonna go ahead and start putting this bookshelf together. I always do this on days where I'm wearing sweatshirts, so I am prepared to sweat profusely. So let's get to it, I guess. Quick update on the bookcase. I am on the last stage, which is nailing down the back piece here for stability. The cats have not been helpful in this process. They have been a nuisance, but I can't get rid of them because I love them too much. I tried trapping them out of the room earlier just so they didn't chew on the styrofoam packing from the box, and they did not like not being allowed to get into the room, so I let them in. They've gotten in the way, but it's fine. It hasn't actually taken me that long because this is the 5th time I've put together a bookcase like this. So it's a pretty quick process, but I am almost done. Just gotta nail this stuff down before the cats destroy something. I have finished the bookcase. I did not put the shelves in because I think we need to figure out what exactly is going on the shelves before putting them in, since they have the like spacing options. But I have completed the project. There were only a few mishaps because I think some things were a little bit sized wrong here. But it's fine because it was super cheap. I think it was like a $30 bookcase, so I can't complain too much. But yeah, the bookcase is complete, and now I can go back to reading. I'm really tired, but I want to give you an update before I go to bed. I just got off sprints, and I read 93 pages in Magic Study today. I started it a little bit early in the day, like this afternoon, and then I continued it during sprints. I've been very tired this evening, but wanted to get through some more reading, and annotating was really, really working for me. I am annotating this book. I think this is probably like my 5th or 6th read through of this series, so I'm already very familiar with the plot, and so I'm just like reading through very slowly, intentionally, and annotating is really, really fun for me with this series especially. And so, yeah, tonight was really fun. Even though I was tired, being able to focus on the details and like taking notes, scribbling my little thoughts in the margins was really fun. So, yeah, it was a good night. I am about a quarter of the way through, I think like just shy of a quarter of the way. And I don't know when I'm going to pick this up again because I am going to be kind of slowly moving through this through the rest of the month. But for now, I've made some good progress, and I will probably be picking up my arcs again tomorrow. I don't know which one I'm going to start with, but that's my plan for tomorrow. I'm going to go to bed now, and then tomorrow I will read an arc and let you know where I'm at with that. Hi, I realized that I didn't do any update today. It is Sunday, and I have made significant progress in 2 of my books, as well as we've made some room progress as well. This bookcase back here is new. Don't mind the mess. I'm gonna cover that with my head. Well, this is the bookcase that I built yesterday, and today Matt filled it in with all of his books. I don't know if you can hear it, but the wind is howling. It is like blowing so heavy outside. I swear it is going to take the roof off this place. But anyway, Matt had a lot of books on like a half-size bookcase, and we had an extra tall one. So this is all of his stuff. He has like his manga, his Game of Thrones was moved over here, and then like a bunch of other stuff. So he filled that in today, and I did some planning. I am getting a new desk very soon for my workspace because I work from home. So I'm getting a new desk, and it should be delivered next weekend. So that's exciting. But other than that, today I continued in my buddy read of How to Solve Your Own Murder, and we are like 50% of the way through now, and honestly, I am really enjoying this book. I feel like it's giving like a cozy mystery type of vibe, but also slight thriller vibes occasionally. So I think I explained originally what I thought the plot was going to be, and I was a little bit wrong. So basically, Frances received a fortune when she was 17 years old that told her she was going to be murdered, and had these like clues that were going to like kind of lead to the discovery of the murder. And so then she lived her whole life being paranoid and investigating everyone she ever met and trying to figure out who was going to be her murderer. Fast forward to her great niece, Annie, is our actual main character in the story. And Annie, basically, her mother is the sole benefactor of Frances's like estate, and Annie is invited to come and meet with her great aunt Frances to discuss the will. And upon going to meet with her, they discover that she has died and obviously been murdered. So now there is this really fun like murder mystery vibe going on of the people in the story trying to solve the murder. And I am having such a good time with this. I feel like the story, it has good pacing. It has fun characters. They're not all great characters. Some of them are really irritating, but like they're supposed to be irritating. And I think it's done really, really well. I just feel like it's giving me all the vibes that I wanted, that I didn't know that I was looking for in this. But at this 50% mark, I'm having a really, really good time. So I'm excited to keep going in this. We'll be finishing it, I think, Tuesday, I guess. So Monday will be the 3rd portion, and then Tuesday we'll be finishing it up. So yeah, this has been really fun so far. I have also made a lot of progress in my arc of The Haunting of Velkwood, which the book is already out. But this is a horror, and I am also thoroughly enjoying this. So we are following our main character, Talitha, who, along with her 2 best friends, are the only 3 people who made it out of their neighborhood, like their street that they lived on when they were younger, when somehow this like mysterious thing happened and like the town kind of like disappeared, where like it's I don't know, like a veil, or like there's like a perimeter around this area of the neighborhood and nobody can go in or out except for these 3 people that lived there and escaped, like did not get trapped. And so the story is following Talitha and also 1 or 2 of the others who are trying to go through the perimeter into this Velkwood vicinity, which, you know, the street that was whatever happened. And they are asked to go in and try to figure out what's going on, what caused the problem, why nobody can go in or come out, and also to find out what happened to the people inside, because they don't really know if there's people inside. They don't know if there's ghosts. They don't know if everybody's trapped inside and like is fine. They really don't know anything. So Talitha is, there's like researchers involved and they are the ones that like get her to go in, and it's like really, really cool the way that this is set up. The like supernatural element is really cool. I want to say it's like creepy, just in like a very, I don't know, like the supernatural vibe is really, really well done in the unknown of like truly not really understanding what they're dealing with. None of the characters know what they're dealing with, and that is scary to them. But also, even as a reader, like I am a visual reader and I am like occasionally having trouble imagining exactly what's being described, but it's because visually what the character is seeing is also hard for her to even comprehend what she's seeing. And I just think that is so cool, and I'm having such a good time with this. I am at the 70% mark right now in this book and truly having the best time. Like, it is so good. And other than being like really, really tired tonight, I feel like I could keep going. I feel like I could keep reading because it is interesting. And something really big just happened that is really exciting. And I really, really, really can't wait to find out what's going to happen now. I am going to go to bed now. And tomorrow I'm going to be reading more in the buddy read. Hopefully I'm going to be finishing Velkwood. But I'll also be starting our book club book tomorrow. So we've got a lot to go, but it's a good weekend so far, and I can't wait to see what the rest of this week's gonna bring. I realized I forgot to give an update on yesterday, so let me just briefly catch you up with where I am in all of the many books that I've been reading. I feel like I've been going crazy because I don't typically read so many books that are similar to each other at one time, and honestly, I partially have some regrets over it, and at the same time, I'm enjoying all these books so much that I can't complain over the fact that I'm reading so many. But basically, I was reading The Haunting of Velkwood by Gwendolyn Kist, and I finished that book yesterday morning, and I ended up giving it 5 stars. I think it's like 4.5, but rounded up to 5. I ended up really, really, really loving it. The concept felt, I don't know if it was like totally original, but the concept felt different from so many other like haunting stories, because instead of a haunted house, it was a haunted neighborhood. Like, it was many haunted houses all together, and I just really love where the story went here. So basically, after Talitha goes back into the Velkwood vicinity and is trying to uncover all of its secrets, she is discovering that it is a lot deeper and darker than even she had imagined. But at the same time, you're discovering that she kind of already knew what to expect when she went in, because there are a lot of secrets that Talitha and Brett and Grace, the 3 that escaped in the first place, there's a lot of secrets that they have and they've been holding for the past 20 years, because I believe they said I don't know if it was exactly 20 years, but it was like about 2 decades since the like street had gone ghost. And yeah, they've been like harboring a lot of secrets that have to do with the Velkwood mystery, and those are all gonna come to light in this last like portion of the book and understanding what happened, why it happened, and what has to happen going forward. And I just think it was done so well. I think the twists were really, really, really good. And while it wasn't necessarily like out of the blue surprise, here's the new like trajectory, I think things built up really, really well, and it made me anxious. It made me really excited. And I don't know, the like creepy atmosphere of the ghost neighborhood was just done so well. Plus the fact that I actually loved the characters. Like I truly loved the way that they were written. The main characters were written to be likable, but like obviously they're going to have qualities that make you question like some of their decisions, but in like a good way. And then the characters you're not supposed to like, obviously you don't like them. And I don't know, I just think that this was written really well and it made me have a really good time reading it. And that's what I'm looking for when I'm picking up a book. So I really liked The Haunting of Elkwood. It just came out on March 5th. So I definitely recommend this to people who like a good haunting story. I will say it's not like a super fast-paced, like crazy chase scene type of horror. I mean, I know I've seen like ghost stories where you're being like viciously attacked by monsters. That's not what this is at all. It is more of like a slow paced discovery of the haunting. But truly, I think that the concept is so good. And if you like, even, I don't want to call it slow because like it's not boring, but yeah, it is a little bit of a slower type of story, but I really, really liked it. So I definitely recommend that. Then moving on to the other two books that I ended up working on yesterday. I didn't actually make any progress in How to Solve Your Own Murder. I failed the buddy read yesterday a little bit, and I'm going to work on catching up with that today, which means I will be trying to finish this book today. I don't think this is going to be a problem because I'm really, really enjoying it, and I think that with especially the twist that happened right before the 50% mark, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to like roll right through and, you know, it's going to be great. The problem is that I have to be working at the same time, so here's to hoping that work doesn't distract me too much this morning. I tend to be able to get some pretty good reading in first thing because the phones aren't ringing too much, and I'm gonna hope that that stays consistent for today. So I am gonna jump right into reading that. However, I did want to also provide an update. I need to get the book because I put it down here. I started reading First Lie Wins last night during our book club sprints. This is the Pyramid Book Club pick for March, and it is so good so far. I only made it like 72 pages in, I think, but I'm honestly having a fantastic time. I think that whatever is happening, there's still a lot to uncover and figure out, but essentially we're following Evie Porter, who we know is not who she says she is. She is our main character, and we know that her identity is not her like true identity, and she basically gets like assignments and like a target person that she is getting closer to, and we don't exactly know all the ins and outs of what her role is, but we know that like what she's doing right now, the life that she's living, is her newest assignment, and she is trying to keep a lot of secrets, but she just met somebody who is throwing everything out of control and is really starting to get to her mind, and she's trying to figure out what's going on. I feel like this is such a fun concept of like her identity. I feel like usually when it comes to like an identity thing in a book, it's other people hiding their identities, and the fact that our main character here is the one that has secrets and is trying to protect her own secrets by making more secrets and also trying to unravel the secrets of others. It's just like a lot, but I really, really like it. And it's also interesting because we know that she is starting to have like not second thoughts about her role, but in the assignment that she has right now, she's in a relationship, and I think she's starting to have genuine feelings for the person that she is assigned to like be with right now, and that's gonna cause some issues down the road, I think, for her being able to do her job properly. So I'm really excited to see where the rest of this is gonna go. I need to be finishing this in the next like 2.5 days because our live show is on Thursday. So I gotta finish this pretty quickly. That's pretty much it. I also have a new desk coming today. I have like a very small desk. It doesn't have a lot of surface space, and because I work from home, I wanted something a little bit bigger, more comfortable, and I ordered a desk online, and it said it was going to be delivered on like Friday or Saturday, and I got an email this morning that says it's out for delivery. So apparently I'm getting a new desk today, so that's exciting. It's not assembled, so I'm gonna have to put it together before I can use it, but that's exciting for me, because I've been like thinking of redoing this side of the room and just kind of changing things up. It's time to build me a desk. A halfway checkpoint. I don't know if it's halfway, but I'm gonna guess that it's somewhere close. The main frame is together, most of it, but I've still got a long way to go. It's finally done. I am so excited, featuring the spinner wheel. I'm so excited to have this desk space done. It is so much bigger than the old desk, which is back here right now. And oh my goodness, it's just gonna make life so much easier. Plus, it's got lights. How fun. I would say good morning, but it's not like a great morning. Today's been really rough on me. I woke up with like the world's worst headache, and I did not get out of bed for like a solid hour. I did have Kiara cuddling on my chest, which was very comforting, but also it's not comforting when she's stepping all over me while my head was hurting. But at the same time, I love her, so it's fine. My coworker called me, which is like fine because he called me during a normal working hour. I just was still in bed. And then I had to pretend like I wasn't still in bed, which was not fun. So it's been a really, really rough morning. I walked into the bathroom and this is what I saw, truly, an actual photo of me this morning. The eye bags were real, but I am up. I am ready to go because I finally have my new desk set up and I'm like really, really excited about this. It took me like all of yesterday afternoon, but I am just like so excited that I have this. It makes me feel so much more organized. One, because I haven't had time to clutter it up yet, but two, I finally have like my work phones actually in like reaching distance. They used to be like I had to almost get out of my chair every time I needed to use the phone. So like I just have this nice setup now, and it feels so much better. And the cats are loving it because there's a lot more surface area for them to run all over, aka what this one's doing now. And now I am obviously I'm checking into work because I have a job, but I'm also getting ready to read some more. I needed to finish this book yesterday and I didn't, so I'm going to be finishing up How to Solve Your Own Murder today. I am like 80% in and I'm still really enjoying it. I think like obviously we're coming down to the end, so the mystery is going to hopefully be solved pretty soon, but a lot is still happening. But yeah, I'm really excited about this one. And then I need to still read First Lie Wins. It is Wednesday morning and the book club is tomorrow night, so I definitely need to be able to finish it by then. And I haven't made like super far in, so I definitely have some work to do, but I also want to like stock my desk. I want to be able to get everything ready here. So we're going to see how this is going to go, but I needed to give an update. I didn't do much, like other than quick updates while I was building my desk. I didn't really do a whole lot yesterday. And I was helping a friend move some things in her apartment last night, so I didn't really get a lot of reading in. So really there's not a whole lot of updates to make, but that's my update for right now. That's all. And I will update you as soon as I finish How to Solve Your Own Murder, because I'm going to do it. I'm going to finish it today. It has to happen. I also need to do a lot of work for my job, but like I'm going to finish this book. It's going to happen. I just finished reading How to Solve Your Own Murder, and I'm going to be honest, I did not solve the murder, but I actually wasn't trying to do that this time, which is kind of uncommon for me. I feel like I'm always trying to solve the murder along with them or like faster. I certainly didn't. However, I really like the way this story ended. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. It wasn't like wowing me like a 5-star read would, but honestly, I'm thoroughly impressed, and I feel like the way that everything turned out made so much sense, and the pieces were there. Like I could have probably figured it out if I had cared enough to like try to put pieces together. So I really liked this mystery. I feel like it was kind of cozy at the beginning. I actually was describing this with Michelle as like a cozy mystery feeling. And then as it went on, obviously the drama was picking up because of the reason that this murder was being investigated. The fact that Great Aunt Frances had a fortune that said she was going to be murdered, and then she was like checking these boxes off of all the signs that were pointing to it. And then Annie, her great niece, is brought in to try to solve this murder, as well as a few other people who are also trying to solve the murder at the same time. It was this whole big thing that was honestly so exciting. I loved the way that multiple people trying to solve this murder was kind of configured in this book. I feel like it made it so interesting. It carried the plot along really, really well, rather than a typical murder mystery where one person is just trying to, you know, put all the pieces together. There's obviously like somebody is probably going to interfere at some point. This book kind of took that and put it on steroids and said, I'm going to show you a murder mystery. And that's exactly what it did. I literally loved how the story went. I feel like the characters were really easy to, I don't want to say love, because not all of them are likable. And one of the themes in this book is everybody has something they're trying to hide, as is normal in a murder mystery. But also beyond having things that they want to hide, it's like actual things that like not even necessarily related to the murder, but just like other things that they don't want to come to light. And I think that that was really fun to kind of read about and put all those pieces together. So I really liked that all the characters were deep and had a lot of intricate things about them. And that made me like them as characters, even if they were like not the best kind of person. And on top of that, I really like the relationship dynamics that Annie, our main character, has, the way that she ends up talking to people and forming relationships with people that she's literally never met before, because that's one of the interesting things is that she never met her great Aunt Frances, and she never like knew any of the people in this town, but she has to start diving into all this history, and it ends up being so twisted. And there were a lot of characters which I think could be a little bit frustrating at times, just because it was hard to keep people straight if you're not like genuinely paying attention. But I was thoroughly invested to the point where I did understand what was happening. I was following the story and I was so eager to figure out what was going on. And then when Annie is able, obviously, to solve the murder, because of course they're going to solve the murder, I was like right there and I was so excited, and the action picked up a little bit. I don't know, maybe like a little bit less cozy and more typical murder mystery intrigue. And yeah, I just thought this was a really good time. And I'm really glad I read it. It does come out pretty soon. I think like the end of March. I want to say the 26th maybe. And yeah, if you like a good murder mystery that has a lot of twists and turns and even a competitive element to it, this is definitely for you. I think it was a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm going to give this 4 stars. So definitely a successful arc reading. And now I'm excited to move on because I need to finish First Light Winds before our book club meeting. Good morning. It is Thursday morning and I am picking back up with First Light Winds right now. I'm about a third of the way through and I want to give an update. One, because I'm having a really good time with this book so far. I feel like the identity thing is like super interesting to me, and I'm really loving the twistiness. Like it is so twisted, and like the secrets and the way that the chapters are laid out too. We're getting the main character, like it is one POV, but we're getting her at different times in her life, and based on what she does and the fact that she changes identity so often, it is kind of like a puzzle putting together, and I really, really like that. But here's the thing. This is our book club pick, and our book club discussion is tonight, and I haven't finished it yet. And I'm also working today, so I have to find the time to read the rest of this book before the discussion tonight. So I'm checking in now. I am at page 116 out of like 330 pages. So can I finish this book before tonight? We are going to find out. I also just realized that this green matches really well with the shirt I'm wearing today. But anyway, I need to finish this book. So we're going to keep track and make sure that I'm making it through the rest of this book by the end of today, because by 7 p.m. tonight, we're going to be talking about it. So let's hope that I can make it through this. I did it. I finished the book in time. I literally finished with an hour and a half to spare, which I don't usually cut it this close, but I managed to get through this book, and we are about to discuss it very soon in our live show, but I will share it here because I always have to give my rating first in our live shows anyway. So I am gonna give this book 5 stars. I think it's more of like 4.5, but like 5 stars because I was fully invested in this book. Today, I like didn't want to put it down. I was reading it while trying to do my job, which was really hard, so I had to put it down a few times, but I like really, really wanted to keep going. I thought it was amazing. Like, the story was so intricate and had the potential to be super confusing because there were a lot of characters, a lot of questions of identity, aliases, lots of intrigue, lots of twisty turns along the way, but like I followed it so well and I loved the story. I think that some of the characters could have done it with a little bit more emotional depth in a couple of different ways, but also I feel like some of the characters were a little flat at times, but I think because of how intricate the relationships, the interactions between everyone was, all the secrets that people were harboring, that kind of thing made it kind of hard to do that and like go any deeper without revealing too much. So I just really liked the way this was done. I thought that the direction it took was really interesting, and for a couple times I was like, "Ooh, I think I figured it out." I didn't figure it out. I mean, I did figure it out a little early, but it threw me off a couple times, and I love when a thriller does that. And this was just so good. I can't wait to talk about it some more in our discussion and find out what Lexi and Michelle were thinking when they read it. But like, truly, I had such a good time reading this, and I don't even know what else to say about it right now other than this was excellent. This was excellent. I still need to test to see if it is actually glow in the dark because Book of the Month says it is, but I've never tested it. But still, this was so good, and I just love that I was able to finish it in time. And I think binging it actually helped because it had me remembering things a lot better. I could see where if you read this in multiple sittings, it could be kind of hard to keep things straight over time because of all the identities and all the very many characters that were introduced. But because I read so much of it in one sitting today, like I was following it and I was loving it. So yeah, that's it. I loved this. I thought it was amazing.
Had a good time. Yeah. Yeah. I went in with no expectations. That's correct.
And with that, we come to the end of another week of Realmathon. I feel like week 2 went pretty much just as well as week 1 did. I ended up reading 4 books. 3 of them were arcs, which my goal for this week was to read more arcs because my Netgalley was getting really, really full. And I honestly feel like I was pretty successful in that. And of the arcs, I feel like overall they were pretty good. I DNF'd 1, but 2 of them ended up being really successful for me. And this just makes me even more excited for next week and the books that I have on deck to be reading then. I've been kind of working this week to figure out exactly which books I'm going to have on deck, but I'm really excited for what's to come, so I hope you are too. Please, please, as always, let me know your thoughts on the books that I have read this week, if you've read them already or if you plan to read them. And of course, don't forget to be subscribing to the hosts of Realmathon because they are the ones that are helping this readathon move along. They're doing such a great job at leading everything, so make sure that you are joining into Realmathon if you haven't signed up yet. Make sure you sign up, but also be subscribed to those hosts so that you can catch all the sprints that are going on and all of the fun videos that they've been putting out. And honestly, just seeing all the fun that we are having and the hard work that they've been putting into this. If you liked this video and you want to see more from me, make sure that you subscribe to follow along with my journey, and I will continue to have weekly vlogs coming, so I'm really excited for that. With all of that said, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope I will see you in the next one. Bye!